Hello everyone, and this is Josh on Tech with another Android app review. Today I'm reviewing the ADW Launcher. You can get this in the Android marketplace for free, or you can get the paid version that has more features. But the ADW Launcher free has enough features and more than you'll ever probably use. But as you can see, I have a few launchers on here, and I'm going to do reviews on all of them except for the Launcher 7, which is a Windows Phone launcher. I just wanted to try it out to see how well it worked on the Android. I still like Android a lot better than Windows Phone. And Launcher Pro I already did a review on, so today I will be doing the review on ADW Launcher. Of course, you see that my default home is Go Launcher, but I'm doing my review on ADW, so I will launch that. Takes a little bit to load. As you can see, it's a little slow when it's loading. When it gets up to speed, it's really fast. They've made a lot of improvements on ADW Launcher. When I first had it, it was so choppy. Way back when I got my Droid 2, it was so choppy and messed up. I couldn't even use it. Launcher Pro was 10 times better than it, but it has improved a lot in its later versions. And now it is really zippy. If it loads, it takes a little while. There you go. Now you can see how zippy it really is. It's nice and smooth, no choppiness, nothing like that. You can pinch out, gives you the previews, and you can switch this down here to be different styles, different sizes actually. You can make the icons down here in this row bigger and smaller. And then let's just jump in here to the app drawer. Basically you get this view here, where it's the original Android, with a little bar to the side, which kind of helps out a little bit to tell you where you are in your app drawer. Very smooth, as you can see. Virtually no lag. And the animations are very smooth, as you can see, going in and out. You can set that for different speeds as the apps fall in and come out at you. I have it set to kind of slow because it looks nicer and it doesn't put as much on the processor. But it's really smooth. I mean, I would recommend this fully for anyone that likes launchers. And let's get in here. And as all launchers do, they changed the menu down here a little bit. Now for ADW, you can add widgets and shortcuts and all to the home screen. You can change your wallpaper. You can search. You have your regular Android settings. And then you have your ADW settings and lock the desktop. Locking the desktop just means that you can't change anything on it. And there's edit. That's where I want to show you. Now here, you can scroll through all your pages that you have. You can make new pages with the plus, or you can tag it as your home page with the pin there. Or you can delete a page with this. And to switch pages, you can't simply just hold them down. It doesn't work. You have to actually go like this, and it will switch the two that are next to each other. It's a little bit more complicated. I wish you could just hold them down and drag them, but it works just as well. So they've improved this a lot since I've last used it. It's definitely recommendable now. Before I couldn't even tell you to get it because it was so choppy and slow. Okay, now let's jump into the settings here, and I'll show you some of the settings. First off, you have screen preferences, which you can hide the status bar here, which will hide this when I go to exit it. See, you don't have that anymore. You can't pull down the bar. You can't. There's no status bar at all. Now it just gives you a little bit more screen real estate. Then scrolling wallpaper. That will stop and start your wallpaper from scrolling. As you can see, wallpaper does not scroll in the back, which means for smoother animations between the different home screens. Then you can hide icon labels, which would be the name of the icon underneath. They'll be gone. You can auto stretch the widgets so that they fit the page. They make the page full instead of having gaps. You can change the desktop rows and columns, which means you have more apps on your each desktop rather than having that big space between them. Then you can have the desktop scrolling speed, which when you switch between the desktops, it makes it go faster or slower depending on what you select. And the overshoot is the bouncing effect between the home screens. You can turn that up and down. Then you have drawer settings, which you can change the style. You can actually change it to horizontal, so you scroll side to side instead of up and down. Okay, see, there's a little glitch there. That's just because it's when you first change that setting, it kind of glitches a little bit because it's got to load. It's got to load all the apps. See, once all the apps are loaded, you can switch horizontally here. Gives you a little indicator up at the top. But see, more apps are loading, so it's going to be a little glitchy, but you can do that. I usually keep it vertical because it's simpler. Then you see you have drawer columns, portrait, and drawer columns, landscape. Portrait means you can have more apps in your drawer, like visible at the time. Then your landscape would be when you turn it sideways and you open the screen like that, and it turns to landscape mode. Landscape's this way, portrait is viewing it this way. Then you have your animated drawer. You can turn on the animation, you know, when it flies in there and comes back out. You can turn that off. You can get the speed of the zoom, which I said before. You can show the app labels. You can fade the app labels. You can change the background of your drawer, which is nice to have another background. Then you have general behavior, which is you get the sense previews when you pinch and it shows all the home screens. You can close a folder when you launch the app. Like, let's say you have folders on your desktop. When you launch the app inside the folder, you can actually close the folder once you do that. And you know that folder's not always open. You can show here notifications. It shows their count for the notification. Like if you have one up here, see how it says 2? You have 2 messages here. You can see that. Well, if you can't see that, I'm sorry, but there's 2 notifications there, and it would just not be there. Then you got bubble font size and home button binding, swipe down actions, swipe up actions. Those 2 are for, you can just swipe down on the page and you can have something open, or swipe up and something else will open, depending on what you have set. Then system preferences, wallpaper hack, which keeps it from forced closing when you scroll. Scrolling cake, you can put it depending on what you want. You can do low quality, which is the scrolling is more choppy and stuff, but I have kept to auto, so it keeps the system working at what it needs to work at. Then you have system persistent, which is very dangerous to use sometimes depending on how much RAM you have in your phone. But most newer phones you don't have to have this set. Basically what it does is it keeps your launcher running and doesn't force close it for the RAM. Then you have home orientation, which you can I have it set to portrait, which is this way. You can have auto sensor, so when you turn it like this, it actually changes to portrait mode. I just have it set to portrait because there's no point. Then you have UI settings, which is the dock style, which is the bottom here. 5 icons, 3 icons, 1 icon, or none. Just expand the desktop, which means you just have all that space for widgets and all. Then you have the action bar size, which is the actual size of the icons down here in the launcher. Then you can hide the action bar background, which just means it shows the applications there without the background. Then you can dock icon tint, which means you can tint the color of the background. Or I'm sorry, tint the color of the icons to be a certain color, like green or blue or whatnot. Then you can enable the dock bar to scroll between. You can have a few different dock bars and you can just scroll between them. You can change the highlight press color, so when you press in app, what highlights the app can be different colors, like green or anything like that. Anything you want. I'll demonstrate that because you might not understand what I'm talking about. See, when I press this, give me a minute. It's got to load here. I'm going to press that, see how it was blue? The blue tint there. Well, you can change that in the settings. Then you can show the desktop indicator, I'm sorry, that's the little thing that keeps moving at the bottom to show you what desktop you're on. Then you can auto hide the desktop indicator, which means it'll disappear once it's done moving. Once you get to your desktop that you're on, it'll just disappear at the bottom. You can have an indicator type, which is a little slider at the bottom. I'll show you this. You can have a little slider at the bottom there, see how it's moving when I'm scrolling through my home screens. Or you can have dots at the top, which I don't really use because there's not enough space with this clock to show the dots. So I use the scroller at the bottom. Then you have trash can position, which is kind of handy to use. You can change it to no trash can position. You can change it to top, bottom, top, and shrink desktop, which means it just brings down the top and moves your status bar down. Or bottom and shrink desktop, which means it just moves up your... See, it moves your desktop, makes it smaller, and the trash can comes down there. Then you have theme preferences, which means you can change your themes there and get new themes and all that first stuff. You can back up and restore your settings, which are all these settings in here, plus your desktop where everything was, like your widgets and all that. Sometimes it doesn't load the widgets properly because it's not made for Launcher Pro, the widgets, but sometimes it does. Then you can restart, reset, and just check the version. There. There's one thing that I need to know about this that's better than any of the other launchers, and that is this down here. You don't have to hold down any of these to change them. You can actually just drag this right out of there and switch it with that. Simple as that. Other ones you actually have to hold the icon down here, just hold it down until something popped up, and then once something pops up, you can change between apps and shortcuts and all that stuff, and then it would switch it. But this one, you can just select one of these, put it down there, and you're done. Alright, well, that was ADW Launcher. It's free in the marketplace. Just search ADW Launcher. And like I said, it's very smooth, very capable. I do like it a lot, but it's not my favorite. I will be doing another review in a minute that shows you my favorite launcher that I use all the time. But for now, this was Josh on Tech. I hope you subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.